the whole Bitcoin Treasury company phenomenon excites me massively. And that's part of the reason why I left Unchained to join Simulr, because I think it's so interesting what's happening, and it's compelling from the perspective of like a Bitcoiner. I always wanted to have a leverage position on Bitcoin over the years, but I was always like just way too scared to, because there wasn't a good way to do it. Because I brought up the idea of like BitMEX, and there's other platforms that could kind of do something similar. Bitcoin Treasury, like looking at Strategy's performance over the last 5 years now, effectively almost 5 years, I think it has actually outperformed Bitcoin, and it's outperformed Bitcoin in a way that I think a lot of Bitcoiners can understand, in the sense that they short the dollar and buy Bitcoin. And it's like the best way to do that is via a public company, because they can issue these long duration debt. They can tap into interest rates that normal people can't access. And that's what makes, this entire thing so fascinating. And so at Simulr, we are trying to build something like that. And that's what I'm excited about. Like, we have a $100 million convertible note that's outstanding that gives us some form of intelligent leverage. Like I mentioned earlier, we're looking to authorize a potential blank check preferred stock, which could enable Simulr to create something similar to what Strategy has created with their preferred equity. And it's just like a really exciting time to like be involved in the Bitcoin space. I think that, our goal this year is to get to 10,000 Bitcoin. I think we'll be able to do it. And we'll be able to do it via potentially like a preferred stock offering, via common equity ATMs, via like the convertible note that we've already issued, via cash flow from our healthcare operating business. So it's just, to me, it's a really exciting time to be in the Bitcoin space. And it's a really exciting time to like just be involved with Simulr Scientific, which is like my view, like truly embracing the Bitcoin ethos, and really trying to amplify the future returns of Bitcoin, which is something that I'm personally interested in a very big way. So yeah, it's very exciting, and I'm super honored to just be a part of the team.
It's going to be incredible just going forward to see what happens with all the public markets and how Wall Street, I mean, it feels like Wall Street, and really Wall Street and Silicon Valley to a large extent, both just still kind of whistling by the graveyard with Bitcoin, and just being like, what, we're outperforming all of you guys. Like what in the world is going on, and how are you so blind to it? It goes back to like, the Musk, Elon, and just like it feels like people are tap dancing around the issue, and like we're almost like Bitcoiners are like, are we being pranked? Like, do you people not see this? Like, we're like right in your house, we're like in your living room, and you're like walking around us, sitting on the couch, watching TV. You're like, we're right here. We're like this person you didn't invite over, and you don't know who we are. And we're not going to say anything. I don't know. Just fascinating. So, what you guys are doing in so many of the companies, it's going to be just incredibly fascinating to see as this plays out. So do you, what are you most excited about just in the Bitcoin space in general? And hopefully, try to say something other than Bitcoin treasury companies, I guess, but what are you most excited about, or what are you most hopeful in the Bitcoin space? And then also, what is your biggest fear? Maybe the thing that's, kind of got you on edge in the Bitcoin space right now.
Yeah, that's a good question. Thing that I'm most hopeful about in the Bitcoin space probably is honestly seeing the number going up and seeing adoption take place, whether that's Bitcoin treasury companies or whether that's individuals buying Bitcoin for themselves in their own self-custody manner. I think it's very positive just to have the number going up and to have that next wave of adoption like pretty clearly taking place at this point. And I think like there's exciting developments like Lightning and whatnot, like Stake and Shake adopting Lightning. But I think like the core, protocol of what Bitcoin is, it works. The monetary policy is, as immutable as it can possibly be. And it doesn't need to change much. It more simply needs to not break at this point. And so I think that as long as Bitcoin continues functioning, the world will continue to come to grasp what Bitcoin is and why it's a useful monetary tool. And I think that's exciting. Things that I'm concerned about in the Bitcoin space, there's nothing like incredibly concerning. Like there's plenty of ways that Bitcoin could fail or bad things could happen. Like a global war would be terrible. Nuclear bombs going off would be absolutely horrible. Those things can happen. a sudden break in cryptographic primitives could be bad. Like quantum computing becoming like very
Mm-hmm.
real, very fast would not be ideal. I don't think it kills Bitcoin. I think there's ways to fix it. And I think the Bitcoin community would fix it. And I
Mm-hmm.
follow the Bitcoin development mailing list. Like they're already working on like how would an upgrading process look like? How fast could we do it? You know, what would the BIPs look like? What
Mm-hmm.
cryptographic primitives would we pivot to? And it's like and so it's like it's something that we got to be thinking about and need to be aware of, but it's not in my view, it's not an imminent threat to Bitcoin, even if it comes faster than many expect. So I think so. There's not really anything that's like incredibly pressing for me right now, but I think there's a lot to be hopeful for when it comes to just the future of Bitcoin adoption.
What orange pilled you and gave you your biggest aha? Like, what were your, those moments that really kind of changed everything for you? For me, it was like seeing the log chart in Bitcoin, and then just really learning. I think it was from Max, like in 2017 or 2018. I was just like holding your wealth in your head and just being
Yeah.
right, and just being able to go around the earth and not being locked down to real estate. I was a real estate guy for 10 years, and that those ahas just blew my mind. What was it for you that really kind of set you over the edge?
Yeah, maybe two things. One is like in undergrad, I studied information systems and computer science, so I had a pretty decent grasp on like how computers worked. Um, Setting up my own wallet and writing down a seed phrase,
Mm,
and then like, you know, basically, buying a new hardware wallet and downloading new software and a new computer, and then restoring that same wallet on a different device
mm,
and seeing that like, wow, like this is like I can access my wealth via literal data,
incredible.
12 to 24 words without a trusted third party, without a government. Like this is crazy. Like this is like completely, this is like incredibly powerful tool that is literally, people when people think about Bitcoin, they don't realize it's like a physical bearer asset that like you can actually like hold. It's almost like
Yeah.
once you understand that what holding Bitcoin is like, it's almost like you can't even own anything else in the same
Hmm.
way at all. It's hard. It's because like if you have real estate or you have stocks, well, it's like you may have a deed which is like dependent on your county, and you got to pay property
Hmm.
taxes if you want to retain
Gotta
the
trust that
deed.
government. Yeah.
Exactly. Or it's like a brokerage account. It's like, okay, well, the brokerage account actually holds the stock certificate. And like,
Yep.
what if your brokerage account goes down? Well, like you can't log in and check your stocks anymore. It's like, okay, well, then how do you get access to it? Or what if the government just like comes in and changes the numbers? Like they could
Yep.
theoretically do that. Whereas like Bitcoin, it's a lot more like holding a physical gold bar in your hand that just exists and it's actually outside the system. Like most people definitely do not grasp that idea. And
No.
I think when I recognized that and like ran a node and realized like, wow, like this is like really powerful and a unique sovereign tool that has not existed before, that was pretty cool. And then the other thing was just maybe 2017 or like early 2018, that bear market, reading the Nakamoto Institute writings
Mm.
from like Pierre Richard, Bitstein, and Daniel Krawitz and others. It was like an interesting blog that had a lot of short, concise, but clear thoughts around Bitcoin as money, and just realizing that like Bitcoin had a far better monetary policy. You made a good point. Looking at the log chart of Bitcoin, realizing that like, oh, it wasn't just like one bubble in 2017. Like this has actually happened like countless times,
Hmm.
2011, 2013, 2017, then 2021, and then 2025. It's like, wow, like this is just like a repeating adoption process that's playing out over and over again. Most people still just don't get it. If you logically think about it and you are willing to have an open mind, it's actually like not that complicated. It's just a better form of money. And we're entering the digital age. It's pretty logical that computers and the internet would possibly enable us to create a better form of money, given that we use government money. It's like, in what areas of our life has government ever been able to generate a solid product for us to all use?
Hmm.
It's like maybe we could actually improve what money is, and maybe that's exactly what Bitcoin has created. And so once I had that realization, I was like, all right, this thing's pretty interesting. I probably will not be able to stop thinking about it for quite some time. Yeah, closing thoughts. Like I think everyone should have low time preference. Think very long term. Bitcoin is not a get rich quick scheme. It's incredibly volatile. Its volatility has been dropping, but The volatility can always come back, and I personally kind of expect that it will, hopefully to the upside in the short term, but time will tell.
The next unbelievable educational video here is going to blow your mind. Check that out here. However, if you want to take action on what you're learning, go check out our Bitcoin only sponsors here below. Meanwhile, it's the first Bitcoin denominated life insurance company absolutely flipping the game on its head. Then you have Crowd Health. Instead of the garbage healthcare fiat system that we use, get your funding of bills through a network of Bitcoiners, like-minded people, or Foundation, the only hardware wallet made in the USA, open source, privacy, sovereignty. Go check that out below.